Hello, this is the Water Man, Spiritual Toolbox number 74, the Love Chapter number 50, audio recording number 392, examination table number 54. Okay, I was in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. I'm going to continue in that. Okay, and I was talking about that love of God. The way God loves us, beyond words, beyond unconditional, beyond unshakable, beyond perfect love, a love that can't be described adequately with mere words. Just doesn't cut the mustard. Okay? Saying just unconditional love is not detailed enough to describe this love that's just plank length size love that God's working and is in each and every thought process, every area of our thought processes. That's Him. That's God. Okay? Now, this love, in verse 5 of chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians says, does not behave itself unseemly. Covered that. Seeketh not her own. Covered that. Is not easily provoked. I was covering that. I'm going to continue in that. Not leave it hanging, and then thinketh no evil. Okay? Now, a little bit of water there. That medicine dries my mouth out, gives me cotton mouth and stuff. Had to do a little stuff, rain and all that stuff, causing a little bit of trouble for me today, but it's later in the day, but I'm still doing it. I'm going to do it. Let's get it. Okay, now, I was in the word that it is easily provoked. And right before that, it's that ooh yuck. Okay, 3756, okay? Alright, they just translate it as is not easily provoked in the King James. Very shallow, just skimming over it. We're digging into this thing, okay? Revealing it, exposing it. That curtain's pulled down in a way it's just show, okay? And then in the storms of life, in these experiences, you'll have more tools, just more spiritual toolbox. Aha! And then as you study for yourself and these things happen inside of you, God is building that relationship, personal, intimate relationship with you, in you, bringing you in and SYN God as you pursue Him in hot pursuit, and stay doing that, because it's a pretty long way to take each one of those, back it down and in there. It's not just a microwave it and a little bit and then tell me what you believe in 10 seconds or 5 minutes or something. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Okay. Now, all right. Is easily provoked. 3947 comes from this POROXYNO. This one.
Strong's G 3947. Paroxuno.
Paroxuno. Okay. And that word is a verb. And it's from the root etymology of that. Chasing it on back. Comes from 3844 and is a derivative of 3691. Okay. Now that paroxuno means to irritate, to provoke, arouse, to anger, to scorn, to despise. Now, to scorn, when you define that out and look at it more like with a magnifying glass or a thing, you're looking down in there, and God is looking much deeper than that. Okay? I'm trying to show you a little bit. Okay? The scorn is to reject, to refuse, To ignore with contempt or disdain, like saying the still small voice of God, is not what you see as good. Your ego is telling you it's good or bad or evil. Whoops. You're like that wave kind of from the rocks being dropped in your water in your thought process. Upsetting your apple cart. And it's one way or another way. You're blowing carnality, whether it's a good carnality or a bad carnality. From your carnal mind, your carnal thought processes, non-spiritual thought processes. You're good and you're bad. Tree. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. But it's not from the tree of life. Not from that pipeline where God's denser, heavier water thought processes. God's ways. God's will. God's desire. God's purpose for you. You're not relying in God, resting in God, and SYing in union with God. You're relying on the good and the evil. You're eating from that. You're partaking from that, okay? You're rejecting God and saying it's insignificant or refusing, okay? You got to take and say, no, I'll reject that crap thinking, that ego thinking, and turn back to God in hot pursuit. I want all that you got from me, Father. Chop this stuff out, hey ya, and bring me back into existence. As I exist, as I stay, as I make a stand in you, in your right thinking. Because that's what I truly am. And that right thinking is, in short, is this love beyond words. And we're describing this, ooh, yuck. It's not this, is easily provoked. And I'm describing it in more detail. It's not refusing, not rejecting God. It's rejecting that crap thinking. It's ignoring it with disdain and contempt. Mockery, to jeer at it. And to jeer is, you're not jeering at God, you're jeering at this crap thinking, okay? And to jeer is to be derisive or rudely jibe at them. So I'm just doing that because I got a dry sense of humor. Really, it's just an easy way to cover over if you get caught. Yuck. I've had people do that. It's just an easy way to get out of it. Do what they want to do and try to belittle you. And then if someone starts to get mad or they start to feel like they're getting in a little trouble or get caught doing it, oh, crap, people's getting upset. That was just me. I'm just that way. I just got a dry sense of humor. Or I got this, that's just the way I am. Don't pay no attention to that. That's not repenting. That's justifying. As long as I can get by with it, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. So, yeah, that's not what, that's ooh, yuck. Absolutely not. Absolutely negated. It's this ooh, yuck, 3756. Absolutely not allowed by God. That's not in his love. Ooh, yuck, it's bullshit. It's worthless and detestable. Dung, scat. It's from that beast nature. It's animal excrement. Okay? Now, jeer is that, I just said that. And in the Strong's exhaustive concordance, see, it's also in this, it's saying it's to make sharp or sharp, it's jagged, sharp, you're gouging at people. Poking, making fun of stuff, just like that. They was poking and making fun of Noah when he's building this big ark out there where it had never rained before, right? And what was Noah's name mean? Basically rest. In any place, anything going on, he's resting. Back in God. He's doing what God told him to do. Regardless of what anybody or anything is telling him, he's not listening to that. He's building. He's doing it, fulfilling it. That's a picture of what you got to do. Okay? Okay? It doesn't matter if God be for you. Who cares who's against you? Okay? Just shut the hell up, you daggone jackass. Right? Talk about their jackass nature, donkey nature. And your own. Don't partake in that stuff. Right? Knock the dust off your feet and go on. And keep existing in the God. From all that stuff, right back in, and that's why I ain't God. You don't have to. Jesus wasn't no wimpy, mealy mouth, wimpy guy. No, man, that's when it going gets tough. My goodness, look at Jesus. He was a pattern son. Can't get no tougher. So suffered all things as a man. That's inside, internally. He conquered it. This orderly arrangement in our minds to show us you can do it too. But you only do it through, God. Through the pattern, son's ways. Jesus Christ, Jesus, Yahweh is salvation, Christos, through the anointing of God. That's the way, the truth, and the life. There is no other way in. Okay, all other ways are robbers and thieves and all this stuff. What's that? I think John 10, verses 1 through 10. Okay, you can read that, study it for yourself. I've touched a little bit on that before. Okay, now in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, it's 3947 is to sharpen. Alongside is to exasperate. Okay, now exasperate is I can't read my writing. It's to extremely irritate or provoke to the highest degree, to just get them boiling mad to where they lose it. They're foaming at the mouth, just plumb crazy mad. And then they think, I got them now. They look at them, they're so upset. Don't do that. That's not absolutely not allowed by God. That's not love. You're being a jackass. You're feeding into that beast nature. Your waves are getting bigger. Bigger ups and bigger downs, and it's off the mark, the will of God when you're doing that. Don't do that. That's not allowed. It's absolutely negated. It's an absolute negative, okay? And it causes, when you're causing pain and upset feelings and offenses, no. Now, that doesn't mean that if someone believes this way and they're believing wrong, and you go ahead and say, well, you're right, I'll give in to you. I agree with you. No, if it doesn't agree with God, don't do that. Just because if they're turning around and looking back and trying to salvage anything, any burnt stuff from like their Sodom and Gomorrah, their burnt ashes and ruin and doesn't mean you got to turn back to that. You can tell them that's not the right way. Try to do it gently. There's all kinds of different ways you got to approach different people. Some people's got to be, they're more sensitive. You say something, boo, a little bit to them, and cry and stuff and all this stuff. Other person, you can about hit them over the head with a brick. And they go, huh? Are you talking? Almost, I couldn't hardly understand. Why didn't you just say so? I was. Right? That kind of like a Peter, Kind of pretty hard-headed, so to speak. Kind of like, man, this dude here, I've been telling him for a week to stop doing this and just won't listen. I don't know why. He's not a bad guy. I don't think he's motivated in a bad way at all. He's sincere as all get out. Could be a man, woman, it don't matter, a person. They just can't hear me. If God doesn't give them the ears, they won't hear. But sometimes you got to almost like take a thing and boom, a little bit. But then if you take another person, more like, say, like John, more tender-hearted and stuff, laid his head on the chest of Jesus, right? listening to that heartbeat. Speaking of like hearing the mind of God, the thought processes. More in tune. There's so many different ways people you could reach out and touch people. Some people you can never reach. It has to come through whatever way God wants to bring it, if they're going to be reached. And they come to different levels of understanding, different orders. That's coming back all the way from all that stinking thinking, their own righteousness, right back all the way in, and that's why in God's pipeline of his heavier, denser thought processes, his water, God's ways. That God loves you more than words can say. Not this, no way is this stupid idea, God gonna burn you up in a hell. It's all made up crap anyways. That's stupid. You examine it. Lay it out there, dissect it, and hopefully you'll see. I did a series here on that to help you. If you're a good Berean, go look at that stuff. Examine it. Let God bring stuff to you in your life. Not to kill you, but to bring that so you got storms to open this up, giving you opportunities to, you are. God is great. See? He's not a monster, no. Alright? Now, so don't go around there trying to do stuff and just get by with it. Be like a sneaking snake in the grass, and if you get caught, making all kinds of justification. Well, that's just me. It's just the way I am. Well, then you're a snake in the grass, aren't you? You're a big old piece of crap, aren't you, in that thinking process, and you're going ahead and staying with that. You're going to make a stand in that crap. Instead of going on with Christ, I can't help you. Stomp that dust off my feet. I'm done with you. My efforts go on. I got more work to do. Right? I ain't wasting my time with that. You're not pulling me down into your crap. Okay? Now, let's go on with this, okay? Now, okay, that word, this word, I'll have it pronounced it.
Strong's G 3947. Paraxuno.
Paroxuno. I need some help pronouncing that bad boy. Okay? Now, that word comes from 3844 and 3691. Let's look at 3844 first. Okay? And it's the word P-A-R-A. It's this word.
Strong's G 3844.
Para. Okay. It's preposition, it's root word. Getting down to the root of it. It's made up of this compound, like these two things, but that one's a derivative, okay? Now, it's para. Online it says, it can be from, of, at, by, besides, near. Okay? That's online biblical usage. In the Strong's, it's near, from, or beside. Okay? So keep that one in mind. That, along with this other word, in combination, and this word, okay? Alright. Now, and it comes from that 3844, that para, and a derivative of 3691. Let's look at 3691. It's a O-X-Y-S, this word.
Strong's G 3691. Oxus.
Okay. Like an oxy. Okay. Now, that's an adjective. The other one, that para, is a preposition. Okay. This is an adjective. Okay. And this one says it's akin to the base of 188 with an acid. Okay. Now, let's look at this online. This what is it, 3691, this oxy thing, is sharp, swift, and quick. Okay? Online biblical uses. In the Strongs, it's saying it's akin to that acid, that 188. We'll get there and define that a little bit closer, a little bit. And it's rapid. It's rapidly becoming sharp and agitated and angered and irritant. You're poking at them, making fun of them. This is all you yuck. This is not. I translate that as not, but it's ooh yuck. It's absolutely an absolute negative, absolutely negated by God. It's not allowed. This is just opposite. This is carnality. Ooh yuck. Okay, this will rapidly bring you to that. Okay, and the Thayers, that one's also saying it's swift. It's quick. Just push your buttons. So all of a sudden it's just like, they explode quickly. Going nuts on you. Right? That's not allowed by you doing aggravating. That carnal mind aggravating you inside. Pushing your buttons. That's opposite. To be carnally minded is enmity, directly opposed to God. He's showing you, he's exposing you. That old alpha dog, he-hauled donkey, parakeet that's all messed up inside you. That carnal nature, that beast nature, non-spiritual nature, that bullshit. It's worthless and detestable. It's not of God. It's dung. Come out of that stuff and come all the way back through that eye of the needle to God by agree with God, not with that crap. Okay? Now, let's go look at this one that says this is from the base of, see, that other one was near, and this one, this rapidly bringing them to this swift explosion of anger and violence and all of this stuff, and it's like acid. It's number 188. Let's take a look at this bad boy. It's this word. We're getting down to the base, okay? It's an accusative case of a noun. This is down to the base, too, okay? Base word, the root word, okay? Getting down this, it's an A-K-M-E-N.
G 188. Achmain.
Achmain. Like,
Thayer's lexicon. Achmei.
Okay, it's an adverb, okay? And it's a point. Extremity. It's a climax. It's bringing them to a climax where they're just about can't hardly take it no more. They're blown up on you. Push your buttons till it's see, that carnal mind's pushing your buttons in there. Driving you crazy. Got you so bonkers you don't know which end's up, so to speak. All right? It's death. It's separation from God. Okay? All right. Yes, a climax, the highest degree of the present time. Bring you right up there, boom, and it's just blown up, and you make a daggone idiot out of yourself. And you're like, oh crap, what the heck? I didn't want to do that, but they just pushed my buttons, or these pressures of life was just so great, I caved into it. Right? You gave into it. You listened to that hee-haw donkey, that jackass nature, that beast nature. Don't give in to that sucker. Put a muzzle in it. Right? Be still. Giving you some tools. Here's a sock. Here's duct tape. Wrap it in there. Shut that daggone dog up. That barking and stuff with that daggone mutt inside me. Reacting to what? Anything, any circumstances, any mockery, anything that goes on around me, just like in Noah's life, when they're daggone giving him, they're jabbing him, jeering him, doing all kinds of stuff while he's out there doing that. They're making a fool of him, trying to. And what did he do? His name means rest. At any time, he's at rest. while he's going along and doing what God told him to do, exactly, precisely and correctly as God told him to do it. Woo! See? Where it hadn't even rained before. He's making this huge big boat. You know, man, he's got a daggone be working his butt off. They're laughing and doing all sorts of, come here and drink some daggone, like beer or whiskey. What? Well, come here and party with us. Daggone, get you, daggone idiot. Or, you can hear them. Just pure. Yet he didn't take it in here. And didn't let his beast nature in here. He used that like rocket fuel to rest, exist, agree with God. Right back into the mind of God in each different areas. Right? You got a lot of thought processes in here. God's take them, baptize them in the Holy Spirit. Right? God's the same yesterday, today, and forever. We didn't wait to just say, oh, well, it doesn't even say it till up here. No, God's the same. Always. I, the Lord, change not. Okay? That's mankind that has to wait on all this stuff. God does it precisely and correctly when he wants to. He doesn't have vowels in that YHWH, does he? No. It's not YEHWH or Jehovah with the E's and all this, the vowels in it. Delays it, elongates the pronunciation in it, elongates the singing of it. No. God does it exactly when, where, and how he wants to do it, right? All the way down here to the present point of time. Respond like Noah did. Rest in God, okay? Now, let me see here. Now, whoops, one more. I was down in there pretty good, wasn't I? Okay. Let's read that verse now. Does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not its own, is not easily provoked. Now, thinketh no evil. I'm going to have to get that next time, I believe. And it starts out again, ooh, yuck. No, okay? We'll get that a little bit later, okay? What I want to do now is on this explain just a little bit, because I got just a few minutes here, okay? Kind of bringing some of this in there, and maybe point out some things in these pictures, okay? Now, just like when you look at, like, the planet Earth, if you're looking at it from like the moon or out past the moon, you're looking back at the Earth, what's it look like? A ball, a sphere. Even though we got the highest mountain to the deepest depths of the ocean, thinking, man, that's a pretty big distance. But compared to the whole diameter of that Earth, it's like maybe like the little ridges in your fingerprints on your hand is pretty much smooth. Okay? When you're looking at it from way out there, it just looks like a big ball. When we're down here on the Earth looking at the moon, on a full moon, you can see where the craters are at, but do you see ridges?
You just see shadow.
Right. Do you see, it looks just like a big ball, does it not? Yes. What about the sun? It's a big ball of burning gas. The solar flares and stuff doesn't make it really, and they're huge. Some of them big solar flares, you could like put the whole Earth through them. Some of the huge ones, when they really flame up there, but yet it primarily, in the main shape of that ball of a star or of our sun, it's primarily a big ball. A big ball of fusion in that gas. Okay? When a raindrop falls from a cloud and then it comes all the way down to the earth. It's not this pretty little oval looking shaped thing that they draw. It's a ball. And this is all because it all gravitationally pulls to the center towards that Planck length size thought process, like in the center in us, in our thinking process, that seed of Christ. It's like that hair length, hair width, expanded up to the size of the universe, and that little bit, another hair inside that. That's the size of that seed of God in you. And God's cutting it. All this poop, this carnal thinking, gravitationally pulls to it. It's like tar, poop thinking. Our own non-spiritual stinking thinking is around that, and it forms little balls. And there's a whole bunch of different balls, because there's a whole bunch of ways you think. And all those are in a bigger ball, and that makes up our soul. It's messed up yuck thinking. It's a mixture of the fleshly thinking and the Spirit of God. There's two in your field. One will be taken and one left. God's taking out that stinking thinking. And it's cutting that out. Hi-yah! As you agree, back in Him. And that's why in Him, relied upon Him. And all's a spirit. When we die, that yuck stuff goes back to the earth from where it came. And we go back to the Father who gave it. Bye-bye.